Spoilers. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas for Teddy Owens. Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all being that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down his cave, with a soul, cringing. Where's my inhaler? Staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who that in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings. He snarled the sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew. Mary, over Who girls and boys would wake up bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. All the noise, that sweet thing he hated, the noise, noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast. Then they'd feast. And they'd feastable, feastable. They would feast on wet pudding, Who pudding, or Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing, and they'd sing. The more the Grinch thought was this whole Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years, I put up with it now. Damn, I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. He made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. For his coat and his hat, I looked just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there's nothing to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, and then he took some red thread, and he tied a big hole on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags, some empty old sacks, and a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. The Grinch said, "Get up!" And the sleigh started down toward the home to the Who's. They were snoozing their town. All their windows were dark, quite snow filled the air, and all the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care. When it came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1. The Grinchy clouds hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. They slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got snapped only once, for a moment or two, then he stuck his head after the fireplace, where the little Who stockings hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. And then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant. Round the room, he took every present. Popcorn and bicycle and roller skates, drums, checkerboard, tricycles, popcorn and plums. As he stuffed them in bags, the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all their bags by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding, and he took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash, where the Grinch could take the last can of hash.
Then he stuffed all the food with a chimney of glee. And now the Grinch grinned, good the Grinch, I will stop you up the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree he wanted to shove, when he heard a small sound like the coo like a dove. He turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou, who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by his tiny Who daughters, who'd got up a bed of a cup called water.
She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you thanking Christmas tree? Why? But you know the old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He took up a lie and thought it up real quick.
Why, my sweet little rot, thought. The fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on his tree, and there won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring them back here.
And his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head. She got a drink, and he sent her to bed. And then Cindy Lou, who went to bed for a cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up.
And the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he took up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but books and some wire. Then one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he saw the same thing. He did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving his crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was the 15:15 dawn, and all the Who's still abed, and the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled, packed it up, the presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the ties and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings.
3,000 feet up,
on the side of Mr. Crumpet, he rode with his load, the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was grinchishly humming. They found out now there's no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, I know what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then Who's done who will all cry boo-hoo.
That's a noise, grinned the Grinch. I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put out a hand to his ear.
He did hear the sound rising over the snow.
It started in low, then it started to glow. But the second wasn't sad. While it sounded merry, it couldn't be Sue, but it was Mary Very. He stared down Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise.
How am I supposed to read this? Every who down in Whoville. I can't read that. He hadn't. Christmas it came. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet, as caught in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came with ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. He puzzled 3 hours. His puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought. Did it come from a store? Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say, the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed his head through the bright morning light. He brought back to the toys and food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. What do we think, chat? W or L book? W Grinch or L Grinch? Let me know in the comment, guys. Let me know. W or L Grinch, guys. Let me know.